with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us, viewers. Remember, we are live on Synergy Network Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. We have our run the next day from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. We also go live on our social media platform, Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Like and share our page. Also on YouTube, it's TT Real Talk. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you would know when we go live. So viewers, I just want to remind you before we start our program, Real Talk Financing, we are offering you 5% on our fixed deposit. Remember that Trinidad and Tobago, we are the only financial institution in this country that is offering you 5% interest with your interest up front. With your interest up front. So Trinidad and Tobago, you may wonder, so how is Real Talk Finance doing this? I'm going to tell you something. I've had 30 plus years experience in the financial field. I am an accountant. I know how to make things happen. Trust me. I know how to make things happen. And the people who have invested with us, they're going to tell you it's really upfront interest, no games or gimmicks attached to it. No games or gimmicks. One of these days, I am going to tell you the worth of Real Talk financing. One of these days, but not now. Not now. I'm going to tell you the worth of our company, and you're going to be totally shocked. Remember, viewers, we are also in Guyana Real Talk financing. Same business I have here in Trinidad and Tobago is the same business I have in Guyana. And we are expanding to Grenada and Barbados very soon, and just now Dubai. Dubai will be the fourth country we are going into do business. You know, Dubai is one of the richest countries in the world. I'm a Muslim, I speak Arabic and Urdu together with Sanskrit, Hebrew, and Greek. So I know the language. Where the money is rolling, their side is rolling. Because I have the brains, I have the knowledge, and I ain't no dunce. We know how to make it happen. That is why I am involved in loan departments. So if you're looking for cash, viewers, it's not a problem. We like to lend. You're looking for cash, the bank turn you down, not a problem. Contact our office, viewers. Set up an appointment. Come down. We are located at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road in Shogunas. We are located at number 25 Cipero Street in San Fernando also, and 132 Victoria Village in San Fernando. That is our location. And our Cipero Street branch, viewers, if you look at the poster on television, where you see upfront interest on your deposit, that is the building that you are looking for on Cipero Street in San Fernando. And in Central, if you look under the yellow writing where the phone number is, that is the building on number 14 Caroni Savannah Road in Shogunas. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. Beautiful buildings. So remember that, viewers. Now the 5%, it wouldn't be around much longer. So those of you who want to invest, contact our office, get your interest up front, and go for vacation. Go for a vacation. Or you have kids going to school, put away the money for the children and them. Because that is the interest you will be using. You don't have to wait 5 and 10 years. You get it up front. Up front. Now, we are the leaders in fixed deposit in Trinidad and Tobago. I want you to remember that. We are the leaders in fixed deposit in Trinidad and Tobago. Also, viewers, Real Talk Credit Union, I encourage you, plant a seed today. Now, later on in the future, you will be able to reap the benefit. Become a member. Start saving on shares and savings. Remember, you can only reap the fruit from a tree that you have planted, or the neighbor tree if they give you permission. Always remember that. Plant before you reap. So if you plant a seed today, a few years up in the future, you're going to reap fruit from that tree. How do you think I reach where I am today? By planting seeds. That is why I am here today. And that's why Real Talk Financing is offering you the highest interest rate in fixed deposit. Why? Because I know how the business goes. I know how the business goes. But nevertheless, in our news tonight, Central Bank Governor Dr. Alvin Hillary has been fired. Thank God. This was confirmed by a senior official within the Ministry of Finance. 2 weeks ago, Prime Minister Dr. Kamala Prasad-Biswas said that Dr. Hillary was refusing to divulge information on the top users of foreign exchange in this country. Dr. Alvin was appointed governor and chairman of the board of Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago in December 2015. Now, viewers, like I said before, the Prime Minister asked for information. The money in Central Bank does not belong to Hillary. It does not belong to Central Bank. It's the taxpayers' money runs Central Bank. I want you to understand that. The taxpayers' money runs central bank. Even Dan Paul said nobody can thief money. Nobody can move money. But yet, we don't know where $2.6 billion went. Nobody have the answer for it. But nevertheless, Hillary wanted to play wherever game he wanted to play. Today he's out of central bank. And many are happy for that. Finally, we're going to get some justice in the country. We're going to find out where $2.6 billion went. And we are going to finally know why is it that the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago can't get $1,000 to travel. All these in the coming weeks, viewers. Also, another update, a report on a fire that sadly claimed the life of MP Lisa Morris-Julian has been laid before the cabinet. This was confirmed by Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander when he spoke with media at the Piarco Airport on Tuesday. However, he said, out of respect for the family, it will not be presented to the Parliament just yet. Mrs. Morris-Julian and two of her children died in a fire at their home in Arima on December 16, 2024. So viewers, I'm sure we're going to hear more on this in the coming weeks also. Another update for you viewers, the 5 female students has been formally charged in connection with an assault of a 15-year-old female student of Holy Convent that occurred outside the school premises on Tuesday, the 10th of June, 2025. This was confirmed by Assistant Police Commissioner Wayne Meister, who said charges were laid against the 5 female on Wednesday, 25th June, 2025. All 5 were charged with the offense of assaulting, occasionally assault, body harm. So like I said, I did say one of the charges would be body harm. But nevertheless, viewers, we'll leave that for TTPS to do. So finally, in Trinidad and Tobago, those bullies in school, those who think that they could beat up somebody else's kid or child and just be okay with it, no, it's a different story. It's going to be a different story. You decide to hit my son? Well, trust me, you're going to be charged and you might be before the courts. Nevertheless, at least the parents, the grandparents, and the students of schools will see now that things are changing. And to be honest with you, we really needed that change. Because if your daughter could go in school and beat my daughter, that's where the police come in. You're a gangster, you're a bad girl, well, not a problem. TDPS will deal with you as a bad girl. Nothing wrong with that. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, viewers, current affairs. So recently, 3 of the 5 detainees who recently escaped from the Immigration Detention Center, the IDC, were successfully recaptured during a coordination search operation in the Arima Police District on Tuesday. Officers coordinated the coordination of the arms or the farm areas between Aripo Road to the west and Smithfield to the east, where they conducted a search across several abandoned houses and gardens plot. This led to the successful incident-free recapture of 3 suspects, 28-year-old Christian, my mistake, a 38-year-old Hanathan, and a 24-year-old Samuel. The Commissioner of Police, Alyssa Guevara, expressed his deep gratitude to the members of the public for their assistance and said efforts are ongoing to locate the remaining escapees. So we want to thank the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We want to thank the police officers who acted on information and captured 3 of the individuals who escaped. So well done, TTPS. The People's National Movement, PNM, is appearing unfazed by reports of a reduced turnout at the party's recent internal election. Speaking at a media briefing on Wednesday at the PNM headquarters in Port of Spain, political leader Penelope Beckel said, the reduced turnout this year compared to that in 2022 isn't necessarily indicative of less interest or support for the party. Listen to this.
In 2014, when I contested, you had almost about 20,000 people. And then in the 2 others, the last one being 2022, you had just about 9,000. The other one, which I think was 2018, and we had also 9,000, right? So I am of the view, yes, you can always talk about what's your membership, but then you always have what you call your active participants. So I am of the view, yes, ideally I would have loved to have a lot more people participating.
Now, viewers, Beckel said the party is now focused on a healing process and mentioned that there is room for improvement within the opposition.
So we'll be making an extra effort to reach out to even the candidates that lost on the 20th, as well as to reach out to those who participated in the process. And we know that it's not the first time the People's National Movement has been in opposition, but it's going to be my duty to recognize those who have offered themselves. There's room for everyone in the party.
Now, viewers, Diego Martin, Northeast MP Clongenbert said the voting process was free and fair and refuted claims by some who questioned the transparency of the process.
I thought it was a bit of overkill in terms of making sure that everything was proper, above board, fair, and that everybody had an equal opportunity.
So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we return, we're going to hear about Ember denies Minister Patharat claims after this.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com. Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, a heated political clash is ongoing between Public Utility Minister Barry Patharat and former Public Utility Minister Imbert. Tension arose on Monday after Minister Patharat accused Imbert of wasting $1.3 million to redesign his office at 1 Alexander.
The painting, Mr. Speaker, costed the country $30,000. Mr. Speaker, then they wanted a custom joinery, a coffee station, which costed the country $12,000. And if it wasn't bad enough that the painting cost $30,000, they paid $35,000 to install the painting, Mr. Speaker. This is it. This is the legacy of the member for Diego Martin Northeast.
So viewers, the document you saw was document that they say is the actual price of what was spent in the parliament for Imbert. But you know, Imbert have his side of the story. Now, Minister Patharat mentioned that the building is not owned by the government, but a former government member who is now a PNM senator. Listen to this.
Not knowing, Mr. Speaker, that all of this was new, but the UNC incoming government have to pay for it. And this is not a government facility, Mr. Speaker. This is a rental building of 1 Faris Al-Rawi claim at 1 Alexandria Place. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, when we talk about the recusals, they were hoping that they were setting up that place so good that they were staying there to fill the pockets of the former member for San Fernando West.
Patharat condemns that the previous PNM administration, for what he said was a mismanagement of taxpayers' dollar and a call for valid explanation on the expenditures. However, on Tuesday, Imbert denied the claims on Twitter and posted, "The truth is the entire 6th floor of the ministry was renovated and other works on the minister's office only costed $0.16 million. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, I want to hear what Imbert have to say. I want to see Imbert present his document. Now, we're not picking sides. We just bring the truth to you. That is all. So Patharat is claiming that the government, when Imbert was there, spent $1.3 million to redo his office. Good? Okay. Now, Patharat has his documents, which he shared in Parliament. The public has a hold of it now. So, if Imbert is denying this claim, why don't Imbert now produce document that would back up his side of the story? That is what we need to see now. We need to see evidence. So if and but say, hey, it didn't cost $1.3 million, but it costed $0.16 million. Well, bring your documents to show Trinidad and Tobago that you didn't spend waste money. It's simple as that. The facts, the finding, and the truth. That is all we need. That is all we need. You see, the same way Clongenberg said, a check clearance system had an error at Central Bank that caused $2.6 billion to go missing. But up to today, nobody could safely say if it is the check clearance system that really caused the money to go missing. I am not going to believe Dan Paul because Dan Paul is paying them right there. And according to Dr. Rowley, you have to be under a secret code. What? What's the name they use? Anybody can remember the secret name? I'll tell you one of these days. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, Embed needs to bring out documents to prove to Trinidad and Tobago that what Barry Patharan is saying is not the truth. That is what he needs to bring out. Moving along. Speaker of the House, Jagdeo Singh, has urged parliamentarians to deepen their understanding for both their individual mandates and collective responsibilities. He made a call while addressing the opening of a post-election seminar on Tuesday. At the time, the speaker referred to democratic state being fractured by erosions of public trust. Listen to this.
It is imperative for legislators to understand their distinct mandates and operational methodologies, especially as it relates to the power and limits of committees, clarifying their authority to summon witnesses, demand information, and conduct in-depth investigations. Holding ministries accountable and enforcing recommendations are also critical to the work of committees.
Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Sai. Great program.
Thank you, man.
Showers of praises to you from many of the citizens. And you know, because this, what you are highlighting, these clips are not seen or you don't really hear it. I mean, you will take out the important part and present it to the citizens of this country, educating them and making them understand what has happened in the past and what we're looking forward to and so on. So, great job you are doing, Mr. Sai. You keep up the great work. Anyway, there was a big comedy fest at Piaco Airport yesterday with dogs, and the Homeland Security Minister and the Commissioner of Police. So the minister said, Homeland Security Minister said, this is a show for tourists. So when tourists come through the airport, they will see how we do things in Trinidad, how we present security, how we on top of security. This is for real, eh? Mr. Sai, your viewers and they call me today. They're angry, you know. This is for real. Rome is burning down. Tell us how much criminals you caught, notorious criminals you caught since you came in office and the Commissioner of Police. Eh? Throughout the world, every country they have bulletins warning their citizens don't come to Trinidad. Trinidad is a criminal country. Eh? You come here, you can't even go any promenade, you get robbed. Right? You can't go nowhere. Why here talk about securing Fort George? When tourists come to this country, they like to go Fort George. As you go Fort George, you get robbed. But you bring dog in the airport to show tourists how we do things here. The tourists can't walk the promenade in Port of Spain, they will get robbed. Eh? Only for real, eh? These people for real, you can't even get the Princeton police to respond, the lazy, no-good Princeton police to respond to the cries of the citizens in the St. Julian Village area and opposite the Indian Walk Health Center. They are Spanish-speaking migrants that wreaking havoc on the citizens, blocking people's yard, trying to tell the citizens something good now. How are you going to deal with crime in the country? We don't want to see dogs in the airport. Nobody don't want to see that. Tourists don't want to see that. Tell them how you're going to make them safe when they come to visit this country. Oh, God, now, Mr. Said, you keep up the great work you're doing, God bless you and your staff.
Thank you, my friends. Now, let me just explain something that I understand your concern and your views, but there are different departments in Trinidad and Tobago, different security hands. Now, for the airport, the reason why they have the sniffer dogs is that to sniff out cocaine, marijuana. Because the dogs are trained in sniffing. Powder have a scent. It doesn't matter how much you conceal it, a dog will pick up the scent. So probably those who are at the airport who have cocaine in their possession, probably meth, probably molly, probably marijuana, these dogs will be able to detect the individual who has it, or probably it's in a bag waiting to be weighed and checked in, So these dogs are there to pick it up before it leaves Trinidad, or even before it's checked in to the airport. Well, this is what I want to believe, that they have implemented at the Piarco International Airport. I could only say what I know, and I could only say the reason for it. But let's just hope it continues. So at least, I believe recently there was a $25 million bus, about 2 days back, with Trinidad officers and United States officers. $25 million bus in drugs. So Trinidad and Tobago, back to the speaker. He highlighted that each role plays a vital part in safeguarding democracy. No matter if there are a minister, MP, senator, or parliamentarian secretaries to legislative process. Listen to this.
What is needed indeed is an intricate balance which strikes that delicate but firm balance between party loyalty, personal conscience, and the pressing interests of constituents. This two-day seminar cannot simply be theoretical. It calls for a mandate of practical application and service. This is also an opportunity to foster a community of practice, encouraging peer learning and strengthening the bonds that unite us as members of the Commonwealth parliamentary family.
So Trinidad and Tobago, program managers at the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association headquarters, Clive Barker, encourage members to do what they can to ensure that Parliament is functioning at its best.
Some key points that we would like to highlight to you all ahead of the programme is that the government of today could easily become the opposition of tomorrow. Regardless of whether you are a minister, a senator, or a backbench opposition member, you must remember that you are a parliamentarian first and foremost. Remember at all times it is of who you work for, the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
So now viewers, the post-election seminar is being hosted by the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago in collaboration with the CPA, the UK branch, and PAL Americas from June 24th to 26th. Remember that, Trinidad and Tobago. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, Caller, good night, you there?
Yes, good night, Mr. Said.
Go right ahead, you're live.
All right, with respect to that last caller concerning the police that they now implement in the airport, I don't know if the public is aware, but the airport have what they call the Airports Authority Security Force.
Correct.
All these persons are precepted.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, they even give tickets, just like the regular police would.
Correct. Yes.
You know, and the show of the dogs were always there in the airport. The dogs were always there to sniff out suitcases and drugs and so on. You know, so I think the airport security need to step up the game. What are they being paid for? What are they there for?
Well said.
You know, and you use up a lot of resources from the police when they have to come and actually patrol where you already supposed to be patrolling.
True.
You know?
Yes.
And just one other thing, I think they might need to put out a missing persons report for Fitzgerald Hines and some of these politicians, because we not see them at all. I don't know, not even Keith Rowley. Have a good night, Mr. Said.
Thank you, my friend. So viewers, when we come back from this break, Cummings claps back at Minister Watts after this.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over, with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, remember Trinidad and Tobago, 5% is being offered from Real Talk Financing. We are the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago that is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit. The good thing about this fixed deposit, viewers, is that you're getting your interest up front. Up front, yes. When you sign up a fixed deposit document or agreement with us, within 7 to 14 days time, office is going to call you to come and collect your interest. Now, a few callers had called in and said, yes, Said, it's worth it. We did sign up, we did get our interest. You understand? It's not a game. Many would say, oh, it's a game, it's this, it's that. No. We run financial institution. I have 30 plus years in financial advisor, how to help you save money, how to help you make money, how to help you invest money. I'm an accountant also. We have Real Talk Credit Union, which I am the president of. We have Real Talk Financing. I'm on the board of directors with that also. On top of that, I'm a licensed money lender. So finance is my business, Trinidad and Tobago. And with 30 plus years in the business, I'm going to tell you something, you couldn't get it better than that. You couldn't get it better than that. That is why Real Talk Group keeps growing in the financial sector. Today we offer 5% on fixed deposit with your interest up front. Everywhere else is giving you 2%, 3%. Some collecting quarterly, some collecting yearly. But at the end of the day, you still cannot beat us. You can't. Interest up front. If you invest $200,000, just saying this, $200,000 for 5 years, that is $50,000 you're getting in your hand within 7 to 14 days time. That is the interest you're going to get for 5 years on $200,000, and you're getting a $50,000 within 7 to 14 days. We want better than that. Is it a scam? No, it's not a scam. If it was a scam and I didn't have a license, I would have never be on air. You know why? Because I know somebody go want to screw and I Saieed. Do we got to do? I do what I had to do. That is why presently Real Talk Financing is running the rhythm, I should say, as we speak in Trinidad language, run the rhythm. That is why Real Talk Financing is the #1 in fixed deposit in Trinidad and Tobago right now. Right now. So it's up to you viewers. Take it or leave it. Miss out or cry after. It's on you. And just to tell you how we so solid. Real Talk Group, Real Talk Financing, Real Talk Credit Union, and have me Saieed a licensed money lender for years in Trinidad and Tobago. So we're growing from strength to strength to strength. We are, let me give a little hint of something that Real Talk Group is doing for Real Talk Financing and Real Talk Credit Union. Now those are two different departments, two different laws, different license. What we are engaging in presently, Trinidad and Tobago, is to get our USD license, United States dollar license. Presently, we are engaged in that arena, that portfolio. So hopefully, in the coming months, they're going to grant us our license. You know why I'm saying this? You know how I remember Tallman, director? I remember Benjamin. Benjamin used to go in the church, according to him. And he says, speak it out. One day I will become the commissioner. I said after here. I said after he. And he did become the acting commissioner of police for Trinidad and Tobago. Sidetrack from that, presently we are engaged in all the documentation for USD license, US currency. We are going after that license. So that is just something for you to wonder what we're doing, or wonder what Real Talk Financing coming with next, or what the Real Talk Group coming with next, or what side business coming with next. We are going after the USD license. So hopefully we get that license in Trinidad and Tobago. You could come in and open an account with us. You could buy US. You could sell us US. But presently, I am buying for my company, as an individual, I am buying US currency. Those of you who have, we're paying $750. Any amount you have, we taken. Any amount you have, we taken. The bank cannot supply me. So I needed to have my business afloat. And I am one person, don't care what Tom, Dick, and Harry say they ain't running my business. And if someone wants to come and charge me for running my business, first thing you're doing, the first thing I do is calculate where my business starts, what is my intention for my business, and how much it's going to cost me, and how much my profit will be. When you could pay me out that money, then come and charge me for telling the public I want USD to buy. Because the bank can't give me none. Recently, I put in a document in the bank for $50,000 US. You know how much they call and they give me Trinidad and Tobago? You want to know how much? From 50,000 US. How much the call man gave me? 3,500 US. 3,500 US. and my company put in an application, an invoice for $50,000 USD. They called me a few days after. Said, all we could give you is $3,500. I didn't have no choice, I take it. And I'm still waiting for the rest. About 2 months now, I'm still waiting for the rest. So if somebody wants to come and charge me for telling the public I want USD to buy, I don't have no problem, you know. I have no problem. But make sure you prepared to pay me what I asked for. Because my company going out to my children. And if you could pay me that amount of money, I could talk money talk, you know. All I want to come and charge, I have no problem. Charge me for telling the public I want US currency to buy. And I'm paying $750. I ain't getting from the bank. So if you want to come and charge me for that, I have no problem with you charging me. It's just that the outcome of it is the length of time my company will be running for, from my generation to my children's generation. I hope you have that amount of money to pay me before you carry me to court. Because it could be me and you. Trust me, it could be me and you. So as we go down with the news tonight, Trinidad and Tobago, newly elected PNM General Secretary Foster Cummings is clapping back at the Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs, Philip Watts, after Watts accused the former minister of approving 61 short-term employment contracts during his term in office. However, during a media briefing on Tuesday, Cummings is saying that the minister does not have the authority of such matters. Listen to this.
I do not know. But if it did cost that amount, well, then it's money well spent.
Have you ever been to one? It's a massive event.
Yeah, it's a massive event. If it, I'm surprised that that is the cost. Because when you look at the operation, I'm surprised. This is money well spent for the young people.
Now, viewers, speaking during yesterday's Parliament debate, Minister Watt also urged that the Youth Career Education and Health Caravan engage in excessive spending without delivering any value, starting off with an annual budget in 2023 for $148,000. The ballooned to $400,000 per caravan in April. This was Foster Cummings' response.
A minister of government has no authority to hire anyone. The only hiring authority in the public service is the permanent secretary. Whether it be whatever the type of employment. On this occasion, they were referring to short-term employment. Even in terms of short-term employment, one cannot be paid unless the permanent secretary signs off on that arrangement.
So viewers, that was his response. We are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back from this break, viewers, we're going to hear 24/7 tactical and K9 security at airport when we return.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real public concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
So welcome back to Real Talk viewers. Commissioner of Police, Alistair Grovero, has announced the implementation of a 24-hour tactical and canine security deployment at Piaco International Airport. Speaking at the VIP lounge of the airport earlier today, the COP stressed that this was a coordinated effort involving the Ministry of Homeland Security, the Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, and other entities.
Ms. Archie would have mentioned in her address that this is the international aviation gateway that brings persons to our shores. And if we cannot protect this sanctity of this space, then we would have failed. So the men and women of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, partnering with the Civil Aviation Authority, the Airports Authority, and led by the Minister of Homeland Security, would have taken a decisive decision to place at the airport a 24-hour tactical police response with canine support.
Now viewers, Grovero said, the move marks a significant escalation in effort to secure Trinidad and Tobago's primary aviation gateway.
Security is not a performance, it is a partnership. And to those who believe that they can exploit moments of transition or test the seams of our systems, know this: we are not reactive, we are ready. Let this deployment be the first of many steps towards a safer, more secure Trinidad and Tobago, not just at Piaco, but across every space where our people live, move, and hope.
For Trinidad and Tobago, he noted that two specific events at the airport in recent months, the fatal shooting of a returning citizen on April 7th and an armed robbery at a food outlet inside the airport on June 6th. This development will feature highly trained tactical officers and a canine unit operating around the clock. The commissioner also added that these teams are not only equipped for rapid response to detect offense, but also to serve as deterrent to criminal activity.
What this effectively does, it places before what has never been done in Trinidad and Tobago, police operating within the airport space, where we will be able to detect offenses immediately, deter persons who may wish to commit acts of heinous violence upon our citizens and visitors when they come to our shores, and the canine presence would serve as a deterrent to persons who may wish to utilize traveling through the airport to traffic narcotics and firearms.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, I'll tell you something. It's just about a few days now he has been appointed Commissioner of Police. And I will share with you a little insight that I had concerning the Commissioner. Now, I have a lot of friends in the Commissioner's office. And a lot of them is saying that he is working. A lot of them that is saying he is going to perform by the way he's carrying about himself and the action he's taken. So this is something I just want to share with you so we can actually build trust and confident in the new Commissioner of Police. And I won't come out and tell you something just out of the blues. You understand? I won't make up nothing. I'm just letting you know that inside sources is telling me that since he has been appointed the Commissioner of Police for Trinidad and Tobago TTPS, he has been working. He's not just sitting down like, former commissioners we had. No, he's not doing that. He's actually moving forward. So, my best regards to the Commissioner from Real Talk Security, Real Talk Financing, and Real Talk Credit Union. We want to wish him the best. To him and TTPS in the coming weeks and months. I know we are going to see a lot of changes. I can tell you that, Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of changes that we are going to see within TTPS. Now we have Homeland Security, Roger Alexander. Some may like him, some may not like him. You understand? The opposition may not like him. But Alexander have started from scratch in TTPS. He left TTPS being the superintendent. So if nobody knows the ground of the criminal activities in Trinidad and Tobago, Roger Alexander knows that. He knows how to catch bandits. He knows how to set up sting operation. He has a vast knowledge in TTPS. Over the years, he have gained experience. So when he hears somebody talking about Roger this and Roger that and Roger the next, look at where he came from to where he is. That is what I want you all to understand. Not everybody would like Roger Alexander. Not everybody likes Saieed. A lot of people call in and say, oh, Saieed, you're bashing. You're bashing PNM. But now you are understanding, what did PNM really do for you? While Marvin Gonzalez is telling you, carry out your children one time for the month. He giving you 4% and them taking 40%. But you bawling, yes. Yes, well done, Marvin. The man you saying hooray to, telling you cut down from carrying out your children while them get a large increase. Of what? The tax you sweating to pay. You sweating to pay. And imagine you can't get water, but you're paying your water rate. And you know what's the sad part about it? Marvin Gonzalez, former public utility minister. WASA, the government office, is owing T&Tech money. And ask Marvin if he made any attempt to let the government office pay T&Tech or WASA owing T&Tech for using electricity. Ask Marvin Gonzalez if he made any attempt to get these offices and them to pay T&Tech the money that is being owed to them. Ask Marvin Gonzalez that. But you want to condemn Alexander. Alexander is from TTPS. TTPS who protected you and your family and your neighborhood. I tell you, watchman, you see when he had minister come out and condemn a minister, especially for speech pattern or the way he operated? Watchman, you're getting it live and direct on TV from me. From me, you're getting it. Not from the citizens, from me. What about the PNM officials? Shamfa Kujo. You got to tell me, you have all the education. All the education. You become a minister and you couldn't switch off your data. I know what Marvin Gonzalez have to say about that. How do he call her now? How do he call her? It's sad. It's sad. You are the Minister of Public Utilities. But your department, Marvin, owing T&Tech millions of dollars, did you make an attempt to clear that debit that public utility is owing T&Tech? Did you make an attempt? Today I heard they fired the CEO for WASA, the one they newly installed. According to Barry Padarat and documents I believe they had, he was I'm going to tell you this, a failed CEO in Barbados. Marvin hired him. Remember Robert LaHunt? This is just updates I'm giving you, for you all to remember. Remember Robert LaHunt? Went to Israel to burn on a device from the sky. From the sky. They're going to see where have leaks in Trinidad and Tobago. Ask Marvin if that device works in Trinidad. Ask Marvin how much they spent on that device. On top of that now, I remember when Gopi Schoon, former Minister of Trade and Industry, PNM Minister, remember when she made an investment, I believe was $25,000 US, into a company that disappeared? How many of you remember that? 25,000 US disappeared. They may know where the company gone. They can't find back the money. So I asked myself, how active is the cybercrime unit of Trinidad and Tobago is? They could have found, listen to this, they could have found Clongenbert's son's cell phone, but they couldn't find the company that they wired 25,000 US to. I bash it? No, that was all the money that went there. So trying to, because I say once more, I do apologize for the coughing on set on a live program, but you know when it has Sahara dust in the air, there are individuals who suffer from Sahara dust. Well, I am one of them. But nevertheless, I am here delivering what I have to deliver for you. Trinidad and Tobago, our time has reached where we must say good night until we meet again. But nevertheless, another night, another real talk. Good night.